Hi, I'm Leanne Lee, the Diva of DIY, and I'm here to show you some tips and tricks to making your Chiefs craft kit as successful as possible. So, when you get your kit, you will have either purchased it locally or you would have had it mailed to you. We've got two options. Local pickup, get the pizza boxes. If it's shipped, the pizza boxes don't ship very well, so you'll get a craft box. Both of them have the Maker's Box label on them. So, depending on which one you have, they all have the same stuff in them. I'm just gonna unbox the one that is mailed. Inside there, you will have a picture for inspiration. Please only use this for inspiration. You all come up with better ideas than I do. It has an instruction sheet, so that'll give you some help if you get stuck, but this video should be a good reference as well. You're gonna get a foam tray. That's to lay any of your paintbrushes on. It's good to paint your beads on. You're already going to get your paints and they're going to be in little containers, so I don't think you need to pour the paint into the container. It's just another extra thing to make things a little easier for you. So you've got your foam tray. If you ordered the kit early in the week, we had these paints, we had 2 to a pack shrink wrapped. We have had some of those bust, and I appreciate your patience with us. This is our first kit, and we had no idea how popular they would be, so we have made some adjustments. Now when you get a kit from us, each paint will be individually wrapped. So we've got 4. This kit has a black, a red, a yellow, and a white, and they're all individually shrink wrapped, or will be from now on. You should then have a small bag that has all of your little pieces in it. And let's go through that real quick. So inside there, you will have 5 beads. So maybe put those on your tray for now. You're going to have your number 1 fan. You'll have, excuse me, a heart. You'll have the KC, your I, so you've got your I love KC. These are your football stripes that are gonna go on your football. This is your little circle that goes on your tag. You'll also have a small little super glue. Now all of the pieces that go on top have an adhesive on them, but depending on if you want to relocate that or if you have problems punching out your pieces and you may lose parts of your adhesive, this is a good thing to use at the very end to make sure everything is secure. And I usually suggest the parents do the super glue part, so that's just kind of a heads up on that. Okay, back to this. You'll have a piece of twine. That is for your beads. You'll have a piece of ribbon. That is for your Chiefs Kingdom tag, if you want to put that on there. And if not, just save it because maybe you'll use it on the next kit. All right, then you've got 2 foam brushes, which we use for the big pieces. So those are going to be your base pieces. And then you've got a couple of makeup sponges, makeup wedges in here. Break those apart, and that's what we're going to use to dab the color on our little pieces. You should have a set of easels. So you should have 2 bottoms and 2 tops. You'll want to paint those. And then we're going to get to our wood pieces. So I always suggest, let me move this stuff out of the way. I always suggest laying out your base pieces first. And I would, if you're confused on what your base piece is, look at your picture. But your base pieces are the large pieces. We used to put a number on the back of those that told you that it was a base piece. But people were complaining that they thought then they had to finish the back. And so now we don't. And if you want to paint the back, you can. You don't have to. So I get all of my big pieces first, all of those out. And those are basically the plainer pieces. So I'm going to pull these out. Now when you see something like the football and the Chiefs Kingdom base piece, and you see that there is scoring on there, this isn't designed for you to paint. I have made this kit as easy as possible. You have letters in here that you can paint and adhere to this. The reason why I put the scoring on the base pieces was so you would know exactly where to put and line up your letters so that you are as successful as possible. So don't worry about this. You're just going to paint this your base color, and it has a score on it, so the letters will project through, and then you'll know where to put your other pieces. So you've got that on your Chiefs football. You've got that on your This is Chiefs Kingdom. This is a base piece as well. Your circles may not be popped out. All you have to do is pop those out. And then your Patrick is Mahomes. It is also scored for you. Now, someone has asked, which is the front and the back. I think it's a matter of preference. I scored this to look like kind of like shiplap. If you don't want to use the scored side as your front, just flip it over and you can use the plain side. Okay, you've got your finger. And then all of these other pieces are going to be your adhesive pieces, okay? So once you've laid out your base pieces, kind of, lay them out, then find your coordinating big pieces. So if you look at your picture, you know that the touchdown Kansas City is going to go on a circle. Your foam finger is going to go on your finger base here. Here are the letters for your Chiefs Kingdom. They're going to go right here with on top of that pennant. We've got the letters for Patrick is Mahomes tag. We've got our arrowhead. It's going to go with our arrowhead. The Chiefs football is going to go with the Chiefs football. And the reason why it has a square around it is because if not, then it would make it, if I just gave you the little pieces, then it makes it extremely hard to paint them because you're getting paint all over your fingers. So I put this box around it. That way you can hold this edge, and I'll show you in the video, but it makes it really easy to paint the letters, and then once it's dry, then you'll be able to pop them out and put them on your football. Okay, and then of course, the Mahomes hair and headband. So those are our pieces, and that's going to go on a rectangle, and then your I Love KC goes on your other circle. So once you have these laid out, now's the time to figure out, and your number one fan, which you can put on your foam finger or somewhere else. Now's the time to decide how you want to color this. And once you know that, then I would go ahead and paint all of those pieces that color first. So if I know I'm going to do my heart in yellow and I'm going to do KC in red, I also know I want to do maybe the letters of Patrick is Mahomes in red. I'm going to put that over there. Touchdown KC, I'm going to do in black. Once you kind of, and that's all a matter of preference. So once you decide that, then it's ready to start painting. And then remember, whatever you also need to pick your base colors as well. And I would get all my painting out of the way, let those dry before you start trying to assemble anything. Okay, so let me just show you. I just poured some of my paints onto my tray because I'm not using these little cups, but you'll have the little cups so you won't need to do that. Let me just show you. So I put one coat. Most of your base pieces are going to take 2 coats of paint. So I put one coat on here. I'm going to put a second coat to let it dry so that it can be drying. And I'm just using, since I'm doing a big piece, I'm using my 1-inch foam paintbrush. And it's really just a matter of preference. You can have it dry brushed. You can definitely, completely cover it. The scoring will still come through. So don't worry about losing that. So, okay. So I'm going to let that, and as I'm finishing, I just kind of go, one long stroke just to make sure it's nice and finished, okay? And then I'm going to set all my pieces over and let them dry. Okay, so I've got some pieces that I've already done, and just to speed it up, I wanted to show you. So here I painted my tag, my Patrick is Mahomes tag, and you can see that it's still, the scoring is still telegraphing through, so you know exactly where to put your letters. I've already painted my letters, so now all I have to do is punch my letters out. So all you have to do is pull them out. If you want to get a pair of scissors or something to pop them out a little easier, you can do that. And then you're just going to take them off of the adhesive. Make sure you punch out all of your little centers. And then you know exactly where to put it. Here's your P. You're going to set it right on top and apply it like that. And I'm going to go through that, and I would do every single one of them just like that. The A, I'm pulling off. Once I pull it out, I'm just going to punch this out. I'm going to put my A on, and I'm going to go through it just like that till I finish. I wanted to show you another piece just so you could see. Here's my football. On my football, yes, so I painted my whole piece white just because that was easier. You don't have to, you're not using it all, but I painted the whole piece white. Now I'm just going to start punching out the pieces. Once you get your piece off, you've got your adhesive on the back. You're going to peel that off and then just start applying them right where they go. Now I've got stuff all over my hands, and if you get stuff on your hands, all you have to do is take a baby wipe or just a microfiber cloth or anything just to get the paint off when you're done. All right, so I would finish this one. And then, you know, I wanted to show you a couple of tips, and that's really it. Once you get these done, you'll have a football like this. The only other tip I want to share with you is when you're doing the beads, the easiest way that I have found to do the beads is to take some type of cylindrical thing, you know, what am I trying to say? Thread these on. I use a big needle and I put them on there and then I paint them. But you can just, depending on what color you want your beads, you can just paint them and let them dry on your tray. Probably take a couple of coats. And then the other thing I wanted to show you was when you're using the makeup sponges, one good tip is, let's say, let's work on painting our little circle, okay? So I want my circle red. So I'm gonna dab into the paint. I would get a paper towel or something. This is kind of like stenciling a little bit where you don't want to flood it with paint. So I would then have a paper towel and I would dab a little off. And then you just want to paint everything that you're doing in red. Once that dries and you've done your red, a good tip, or a tip I do a lot, is I then cut off this small section that has the paint on it. I mean, we haven't wasted much of this at all. So now we can switch to the yellow. So it makes it really easy if you want to recruit some helpers that you guys can all share the same thing. So let's say I want my KC to be yellow. So then I'm going to just dab it, let it dry. Once I've done all my yellow pieces, you can just cut this little piece off and you can go forever with one of these makeup sponges. So that's just another tip. And then after they're all dry and after you've attached all of your little pieces, that's when you will thread your twine onto your beads, hook them onto your tag that you have, add the ribbon to your Chief's Kingdom pennant if you want to do that, and then just decorate with it. And I have seen so many great ideas with these kits. People have been making photo props with them. People have been making just little shelf sitters. They've been decorating Chief spreads with charcuterie boards and all sorts of things, and just having them sprinkled throughout. There's so many things you can do with these kits. So I hope unboxing this and kind of going through it with you helps and makes it a little less daunting. I promise you, any feedback that you give me is well appreciated. Like I said, this is we are just starting this business, and I really appreciate your patience and your time. And I want you to come back because I've got a very special Super Bowl add-on kit that we are adding. Go back to the shop, divaofdiy.com, hit the shop button, and Monday morning we will have, when we win, because fingers crossed we will win, we will have a special Super Bowl add-on kit that'll be super fun. So thank you so much. Please email me at leanne@divaofdiy if you have any questions, and I will see you for the next video on the next kit.